Were you convinced by that explanation? If you weren't, you can send a text message to our phone and we can deal with it. Okay, let's come back and see what we got for you today. We have quite a few interesting things. We have some birthday shout outs for the famous birthdays of March, and then let me get to the touch screen and we can begin the conversation right away. Good evening and welcome to the studio. Thank you very much for joining us all the time and helping us to analyze these otherwise controversial issues. Okay, so it's 18 minutes past the top of the hour, 9 o'clock in the evening. It's a what do you call it? It's a casual Thursday, as we sometimes do. So you understand why we're looking like that. Okay, so this is another example of what was draped around Accra to mark the visit of Kamala Harris to the Republic of Ghana. And this is the last one that came in, and you can see the red clearly over there. The green is there as well. And these photographs were taken from the website of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Now let's do some birthday dedications for the month of March. And I celebrated my birthday recently, and I'm finding out that in March they're going to put the photographs down. We're going to go through a list of birthday, and then we'll play one birthday song together for all the March borns. Okay, so I'm the first March born. I celebrated my birthday recently. So that's Paul Adumoshi. Okay. Next one is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He celebrated his birthday on the 29th of March. And then you have Sami James-Fi. He celebrated his birthday on the 28th of March. And then you have Madame Joyce Aye. She turned 77 on the 27th of March. And then you have Michael Otieje, who also celebrated his birthday on the 28th of March. Otieje is one of the foremost football sports writers and now a digital consultant doing the digitization for the TV3 group. Okay, now as I look at the photographs, I'm thinking that it looks like the March thing has some connection with politics in it. Let's go through it again. This is Paul Adumoshi. Does he like a lot of politics? No, a little bit, just a little bit. It's not a lot, a little bit. Okay, does this man like a lot of politics? Oh yes, he does. What is it with March borns? Do they like politics? Akufo-Addo is here. Does he like politics? Yes, he does. He does very much. Okay, next one. Does he like politics? Oh, yes, he does. What is it with March borns and politics? Oh, wow. Okay, let's look at the ladies as well. Does she like politics? Oh, yes, she does. She was a minister for a long time in the PNDC administration, but she also loves the gospel. Ms. Joyce Aye has been leading the Salt and Pepper organization that has been trumpeting the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ for over 25 years now. And she turned 77 on the 27th of March. And Michael Otieje, does he like politics? Maybe sports politics. So, okay. So let me do a big happy birthday for all the March borns, especially President Akufo-Addo. All right. We'll do the birthday song. Let it go. Happy birthday to everyone. And then... okay, they're going to play the birthday song so you can hear it, and then once they play it and we hear it, and
could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I just never understood how a man who died for good could not have a David Wood. He said, aside for his recognition, because it should never be, just because some cannot see, the dream is clear as he, that they should make it become an illusion, and we all know everything that he stood for time will bring.
to the show. Happy birthday to us all. Happy birthday to the March borns. If I missed anyone, remind me and then I will deal with it. Tonight we have a Ghana month we've not been able to do it, because we lost 1 week. I wasn't available for a week, and then we came back and all the stories of Parliament and all that. So we couldn't get to do a Ghana Month, but tonight we'll do it. We're going to recap to you one of the most important political events in the history of Ghana and how it was described by Dr. Nkrumah. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's now 23 minutes past the top of the hour. We are ready to roll with our first item story tonight. But before then, we will introduce our guest. The lady is going to be with us throughout the show. She's Miss Malaika 2022. She joins us in the show tonight to talk about a pet project, which is cervical cancer. Tell us, what's your name, madam?
Good evening. My name is Zakia, Miss Malaika Ghana 2022. Thank you for having me here.
And we're going to be listening to you about what?
Cervical cancer.
And why did you choose cervical cancer?
Okay, so growing up, I had this favorite auntie who died from cervical cancer, and due to that, when I joined Miss Malaika, I just decided to talk about it and raise awareness about cervical cancer.
Okay, thank you. We'll be coming to you on that. So you know that tonight we're not just doing politics, we're also doing something. Okay. Something about cervical cancer and something about CSR, isn't it? Corporate Social Initiative and Corporate Social Responsibility. Okay, now let's begin with the first story. Can you get OTJ, happy birthday. Can you get OTJ off? And then let's begin with the first story at 24 minutes past 9 o'clock. Now, following the parliamentary story last week where there was some voting and some concerns, you know that Parliament today has had to have another conversation about whether they will agree to do something or not. It is reported that the vote will be taken tomorrow, if at all, on the revenue situation. The majority is arguing, are they arguing? They are negotiating with the minority to approve these revenue estimates and targets, because if they don't, it will affect the IMF negotiation, and the revenue targets that are before Parliament, the bill, altogether will raise 4-point-something billion cedis per year over the next 3 years or so. And so that has been fitted into the plan to tell the IMF that we'll be able to gain significant revenue and be able to pay the loans, etc., etc. So that's going up for Parliament consideration tomorrow, according to what the Business Committee provided to the Parliamentary Press Corps tonight. Okay, but following that conversation on Thursday, where these voting issues occurred, it has become important for people to look at Parliament in the way that some of us have been saying for a while, that in 2024, it's not going to be a presidential election, it's a parliamentary election. There's going to be a lot of fight in Parliament. Whoever wins the Parliament really has a foothold, I guess, in the presidential. So it's going to be very big. So we've taken it upon ourselves now to be researching into it. Tonight, we're going to present you with the 21 constituencies where the victory was by less than 5%. And we're going to keep an eye on these constituencies from now, especially with the primaries. What's going to happen in the primaries is going to significantly tell us what we need to know. But before then, we would like to give an impetus to this story about Parliament and the close margins with which as many as 20 seats were won. You saw on social media a member of Parliament who went back to his constituency, who was under pressure from the constituents for not being articulate in Parliament, for not being heard in Parliament. And we hear all that people, when the primaries come and people want to remove MPs, they say that we're on Kasada, and that kind of thing. So this guy, I think, was under pressure and was responding to the reason why he has not spoken in Parliament. Hear him.
Baby, I'm to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium. Never be a to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium. Never be a to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium. Never be a to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium. Never be a to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium. Never be a to a Parliament. Pilon Possibanium. Speaker on Humanium.
All right, so that's the member of Parliament. He said that where he sits in Parliament now, he was speaking on one of the campaign forms of President Mahama. You could see President Mahama's logo behind him. And he's explaining to his constituents that where he sits in Parliament, he's obscured because there's a pillar in front of him. Even when he wants to speak, the speaker does not see him. Is that very honest, what he's telling his people? I don't know. Because I know that Parliament, in terms of who speaks, is arranged. It's not as simple as that. There may be some simplicity, but that is controlled by the leadership. Members of Parliament who are backbenchers will often not be called by the Speaker unless it is part of the plan where the side of where the member of parliament belongs will tell the speaker that Sam George will speak, after that this one will speak, after that this one will speak, and after that the minority leader will wrap up on our side. Then they go to the majority and they will say that Patrick Boama will speak, after that this person will speak, Abu Janapo will speak, then Asensu will speak, and then the leader will wrap it up on our side. So when the speaker has the list in front of him, he knows that next to speak on the majority side is Samuel Ablai Janapo. He raises his head, he sees him and says, Honorable member for Damango, but it's already on the plan. So this issue about I have to raise my hand and there's a pillar in front of me, I'm not so sure. Anyway, let's look at those constituencies that we're talking about here. Look at Ahanta West, for instance. Ahanta West was won by 7%, okay? And we'll get you the MP in a minute. So the MP for Ahanta West, the guy who won it, I believe it is Emmanuel Okumi Ando. No, it was won actually by the MPP candidate, Kojo Kum. Kojo Kum won it by 27,940 something, and the NDC got 23,900 and something. So 51 and 40 were won by only 7%. Let's move on and see the rest. This is the constituency is called Isikado Keten. Joseph Gate, who is running for MPP presidential at this time and therefore is no longer running for the seat. He managed at 26,000, and Grace Ayensu Dankwa came up with 24,000, and the difference was 4% win for Joe Gate at Isikado Keten, where President Akufo-Addo won it quite comfortably. Okay, let's look at the rest. Western region, this is Shama, another constituency won. It was won by the 22,000. That's the NPP won it. Shama constituency, Eric Abaka. Is he the one who's passed or so? There's some story like that. I have to check it. But this is Shama, one of those constituencies we put down a 6% win in the last election. Then the next one, this is 1% win. Takwan Swayim. That's amazing. It's only 1% win. It was won by George Mekuduka, who is the Deputy Minister for Lands, who believes that he has strengthened his position now. But he got 31,946, and then NDC got 31,000. NDC's John Justice Aban got 31,845. 33.56, 33.46, 1% difference is what MPP won Takwan Swayim with. All right. Then Amenfi West also showing 4%. We have Amenfi West 4%. Then we have Cape Coast North and South 3% marginal wins. That's very, very tight. Okay. Now let's go to the data. Let's go to the data and see which party needs to be more careful in this particular analysis as we build up to the primaries. So now we take the data analysis that we've done. It's clear. It's here. It says that most seats won marginally were won by the NDC. Out of 21 seats with marginal vote difference, the NDC had 13, while the MPP had 8. The central and western regions recorded the most constituencies with marginal vote difference, 11 constituencies in all. Let's move on. The NDC also secured most of the narrowest wins, that is, wins of 1% or less. Thus, the MPP did not only lose many seats to the NDC in 2020 from the record high of 2016, but had lost a number of seats so marginally, very, very marginally in the year 2020. All right, let's look at some of the breakdown analysis. And we'll be doing this analysis as we go along, so you can follow us. And then when D-Day comes, we have been building it up for a while. So the breakdown as follows. Pusiga for NDC is 0.1%. That's how they won. Number 2, Ablekuma Central is for NDC, 0.2%. Savlugu is for NDC, 0.2%. Sene West is for NDC, 0.1%. Gomwa East is for NDC, is 1%. Upper Dentra West is for NDC, is also 1%. And then you have Banda is for NDC, is 1%. Takwan Swayim, 1% for NPP now. Sefiwi also 1% for NPP. Ebura Asebu Kwaman Kese is 0.3% for NPP. And then Techiman South is 0.4% for NPP. Then you have the regions with the marginal wins. So Central Region, there are 6 constituencies in Central Region that recorded very, very marginal wins as we have looked at it. And then in Western Region, there are 5 constituencies also that recorded something similar. And then Greater Accra, you have 3 constituencies that recorded marginal wins. Only 3 in Greater Accra. Okay, Bono East, you have 2. Ashanti Region, you have 1 constituency that recorded marginal. Western North has 1. Bono has 1. Northern has 1, and Upper East has another. So all of these constitute the 21 constituencies that we should keep an eye on, especially for the places that the NDC won marginally in terms of what happens at the primaries, which is occurring in May 13th or so. And today they put up the ballot. So this is our first take of the first 20 constituencies, the most closely fought 21 constituencies in the 2020 election. NDC have 13, MPP have 8. We keep an eye on them and see whether the primaries is retaining the same candidates, in which case you can think of it being stronger, or whether the primaries is changing them, whether the presidential election went one way or the other, to give us a sense of, balancing and dealing with this matter, isn't it? All right, now let's go to the text messages. Please get ready. Whilst we look also at the ballot. The NDC also put up the ballot. The ballot paper was done. So President Mahama is first on the ballot. Kojo Bonsu is second on the ballot. And Dr. Kwabena Dufour is third on the ballot. They're going to put that up in a minute, and then we can deal with that whilst we get ready to read text messages. And cameraman, where do you want me to start from? Okay, Antoinette, then we start with you. What are people saying?
Okay. So this is coming from Jones J. He says, Paul, Honorable Michael Ochre Buffy, MP for Drabin South, Deputy Trade Minister, is also a March born. He was born on March 12th, so kindly celebrate him as well. Also coming from Kwabena Dako PSA, he says, salt and what? What you meant to say is salt and light, and not salt and pepper. Okay. Thank you for that. Samuel Ofosuba says, happy birthday, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and all those celebrating their lifetime. It's my earnest prayer that the God of Abraham bless you with all the spiritual joy and peace. Lastly, from JB News Ghana, you look good, Paul. There is also this guy who is celebrating his birthday with Nana Addo. He is also an ardent viewer of Good Evening Ghana. His name is Sir Wisdom, a teacher of the Apostolic Hope School, Nima, Alaska. Okay, happy birthday. Over to you.
All right, so I have one coming from Alhaji Bob City. He says, good evening, Paul, and assalamu alaikum. We are grateful to our Maker for keeping us alive to watch the best evening program of our time. May the good Lord continue to bless you and your team and continue to make you greater and better. Greetings to all Tafo constituency, MP Honorable Eko Vincent Asifua, and then lastly from Beta Efun. She says, Ghana needs a new face with new ideologies and business-minded person with credibility. Alan is coming live. Do you have any for us?
Right, so from Michael Mensa, Michael says, my wife celebrated her birthday today, and her name is Juliana Enim. Please wish her for me. Okay, so Miss Juliana, happy birthday to you. And also coming from Vincent Ruby. Vincent says, John Alan Kwejo Chermantin, the time to rescue and end the movie is now. The gentle giant has awakened. Angelo.
Right, so we've got two differing views on the Kamala Harris issue. The first is from Amisco Spilele, watching us in Kaswa Republic. Now he says, Paul, this is rather from Nana Kwama. He says, I really don't know why some people want to push agenda to divert the attention of the good things Kamala Harris said. The benefit of it comes with, rather than trivializing it. Now, Aaron Babako Kokomisa disagrees and says, there are certain conversations we need not spark or raise at all. We should not, at certain junctures, dance to the weird rhythm of the Western culture, all in the name of civilization or trends. My point is that, why on earth should we even discuss the issue of the gay bill, or even think of the U.S. interfering? What is wrong, what belongs to the left belongs to the left. Now, this is from Isaaku Kabila. He says, can't wait for tonight's show. Thank you, Isaaku. Now, this is from Asiedu Kujo. And it says, the moment I saw something about Bamia, then I knew I couldn't miss this one. Great, thank you for that. Now, Anchorite Floyd says, curious to know more about the anti-corruption entrepreneurship. And lastly, from Kaswa Republic, this message goes, Paul, undoubtedly it's crystal clear that JDM, John Dramani Mahama, will win the NDC primaries, but will lose massively to Dr. Bawumia in the 2024 elections. Back to you, Paul.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just sending the photographs from the Bawumia Must Win event to my producer to look at it. I've sent you some photographs, Kuku. So this is the arrangement of how the NDC ballot paper will look like. On top of it will be President John Dramani Mahama, and then Kojo Bonsu in the middle, and Dr. Dufour coming up at the rear as a third. Professor Mills used to say 3 times lucky. 1, 2, 3 times lucky. Now, just around the NDC stuff, I'm delighted to report to you viewers that the book I have in my hand is something I've been looking for a long time. I've been reading it with a lot of interest. It's the Kwesi Butchery report. I got my copy. I found it. Eventually, I tell you, the stuff in this matter is serious. I don't know why. I mean, it is like a workbook for political elections in Africa, something like that. It's a very good work. I'm reading it, and when I finish, we will serialize it. So if you know your name has been mentioned in it and you don't want to mention my name, you don't want me to mention your name, just call me and say that my name is on page 43, but when you are serializing, don't mention it, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, next to our important story, Anas Aremeyao Anas seems to have had more trouble. Now, coming against him is the Honorable Martin Amidu, the former special prosecutor, who has written an epistle tonight about the court ruling. You know that the High Court gave ruling in favor of Kennedy Japan, who was actually the defendant. Anas had sued him in defamation, and the court had held the view that Kennedy Japan's comments against Anas, for which Anas sued, were fair comments and they were actually true. And it was also fundamentally because Anas could not present himself to defend himself, as it were. Martin Amidu tonight is weighing in on the matter and is written something that we'll be looking at. We've picked about 2 or 3 important paragraphs that, in our editorial judgment, have a huge public interest matter with it. So we have tried to isolate the technical legal matters, which may be boring for our viewers. We've taken them out, and we've left in there the matters that we concluded are of high public interest. So we'll be sharing that with you in a minute. But now let me go back to the table and ask our beauty queen about cervical cancer. I'll be right back. Okay. So tell us, you said you chose cervical cancer because it had unfortunately happened to your auntie. Yeah. So in this, your advocacy, what do you want to do? Are you raising awareness? Are you raising money for people who are living with the condition? What are you doing?
So now you know cervical cancer is such a broad topic, and I have decided to leverage on the youth. So I'm deciding on creating an educational campaign whereby I'll go to senior high schools and educate girls more about what cervical cancer is and the dangers of cervical cancer.
Yeah, so but is this something that happens to young people or is old people? What have you found out so far?
Well, cervical cancer starts with an infection, which is the HPV virus, and every other person can get it, no matter your age. So cervical cancer starts at the age of 15. When you start menstruating and you are just sexually active, you can get it, but the symptoms start showing when you are in your early 30s.
What are some of the symptoms? How does it come?
Abnormal bleeding and blood before, during, and after sex. So yeah, basically those. So
when you see that, then you have to go to the hospital?
Yeah. You don't have to wait to see that. You need to check up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from age 15?
Age 15, yeah.
You have to be checking?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. To know whether you have the...
There's a process that you can go through to check?
Yeah, the pap smear test.
What is it called?
Pap smear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they will know whether you are at risk of cervical cancer.
Yeah.
I see. So by the time you have finished your reign as Miss Malaika, what do you want to see? What do you want to be achieved?
To be able to educate at least 2,000 young girls on what cervical cancer is.
Okay. So how are you combining this with your studies at school? Have you finished your university work?
No, I'm currently in my 3rd year. It's not easy combining it with school, but I'm pushing through. My team and I are really doing hard.
So what are you studying in school?
Psychology.
What do you want to do with that? Is that your lifetime ambition, or is there a stepping stone onto something else, or you want to be a clinical psychologist?
Psychologist, yeah, basically.
You want to be a clinical psychologist? Yeah. I see. Where you're advising people on disease. Okay, interesting. So when you raise money for this, what does the money go to? You use it to create platforms to go and talk to young people, or what?
For the basic items I will need for the educational campaign, and I would like to give out souvenirs like books and pens to students. Okay,
all right. We'll come back to you and find out how you're going to raise the money and how you want to raise the money. But now let's get back to the touch screen and look at what Martin Amidu has been saying about the Anas Aremeyao Anas document. Okay, so we know that the court ruled, didn't they? And after the ruling, there's been a lot of conversation about it. Kennedy Japan is claiming victory. We know there's a lot of bad blood between he and Anas Aremeyaw. Anas, we know that, don't we? And we know Martin Amido has also had his own relationship with anti-corruption. No one in this country can claim to be a more anti-corruption agent than Martin Amido. For the former Attorney General, went to court on his own as an individual citizen to fight for money that Ghana had with Isopoton, and also to fight to prosecute the Alfred Woyome matter, which came to a head ahead of the 2012 elections. So Martin Amido has been doing quite a bit of that. Following all of those things, President Akufo-Addo appointed him as special prosecutor, the first one. He got into problems with that situation because of the so-called Oforiatta issue with PDS and all of that. And somehow he didn't handle it well, and he was ousted from the office, or he resigned, or he was sacked, something like that. A new special prosecutor was appointed, Kisia Jabin. At the time of the appointment, Martin Amido expressed concerns about it, and etc., etc. So I'm just trying to position who Martin Amido is. He's not a big fan of Kisia Jabin and the whole Anas enterprise. He has said before that he doesn't think that that is good journalism. But now he assesses the judgment, and let's see what he says. Okay, so we begin with a portion he calls the honesty of Anas in getting another person to represent him. And this is the text. He says, the filing of the action through an attorney as an agent of a principal is not controversial and is enabled by law. The question is whether the attorney can testify on behalf of the plaintiff on matters which are not within his personal knowledge. Okay. Did the attorney see or witness the transactions alleged? As far as the requirement that he should testify about what he actually did see or heard is concerned, the attorney could not testify about what the plaintiff himself witnessed or heard. The rule against admissibility of hearsay evidence is statutory. So Martin Amido is making the point that once Anas decided not to represent himself, then he wanted somebody else to represent him. He thought that was quite dishonest because, according to him, the person representing you must testify, according to the rules of evidence, must testify to matters that he has seen. Therefore, the transaction that was being alleged, which is a video in which Anas was alleged to be coaching people on how to blackmail and all of that, that video that was heavily alleged by Kennedy Japan in the court, needed Anas himself to testify because, according to what Martin Amido is saying, that person who was given the power of attorney, whether he's a lawyer or any other person, can only testify to matters that he has seen and heard, according to the evidence decree. And that's what he says. The rule against admissibility of hearsay is statutory. You cannot administer evidence that's based on hearsay. So whoever was testifying for Anas ought to have had knowledge of the matter. If he says that I wasn't there when this recording was done, that is it. The court will take the recording as it is because there's no other contrary evidence to challenge it. And I think that's where Martin Amido is going. Let's follow him and see where he goes with this. All right. He continues and says that Anas Aremeyaw, Anas, the plaintiff, put himself in a situation of being incapable of giving relevant and primary evidence in person and be cross-examined because he lives in fear of his own shadow as an anti-corruption entrepreneur and not as a genuine anti-corruption crusader. These are Martin Amido's value judgments that he makes that we cannot confirm. He makes statements that are value judgments. He says that Anas is afraid of his own shadow and that he's an anti-corruption entrepreneur. These are the words of Martin Amido. It's not our words. We don't know whether Anas is... we don't have enough evidence to come to that conclusion. But this is Martin Amido speaking. He says that Anas is afraid of his own shadow. We don't know why he said that. Anyway, let's move on. He says, Anas Aremeyaw Anas thus lost the only opportunity to publicly tell the court his version of the facts within his personal knowledge and to be cross-examined to establish his credibility. Genuine anti-corruption crusaders do not hide their faces behind masks. Oh, that's heavy. It says, genuine anti-corruption crusaders do not hide their faces behind masks. He goes on, he talks about Anas and contempt. He said, a losing party or his cohorts who impute partiality or impropriety to the judge or court commit the offense of scandalizing the trial judge, the court, and the administration of justice as an institution and are in contempt of court whether or not the losing party subsequently files an appeal against the judgment. Okay, this is very interesting. So Martin Amido is reminding people that a losing party is in contempt of court if he says things that scandalize the court. And he's alleging that this is what Anas has been doing, and therefore filing an appeal, which we heard they're going to do, does not emasculate them of that situation. They will still have to be responsible, according to him, for being contemptuous of the court, having run commentary after losing the judgment, which, according to Martin Amidu, brings the name of the institution of the trial judge into disrepute. Okay, let's move on. It says the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Republic versus Mensah Bonsu and ex parte Attorney General 1995-96 Ghana Law Reports 377 governs this situation that he's referring to, about the fact that contempt has already accrued based on what they have said, even if they file an appeal. All right, let's move on. Anas Aremia Amas, Martin Amidu says, a lawyer and the founding partner in Cromwell Gray LP with William Ajabe, now the special prosecutor, and his cohorts appeared to assume that when a trial goes against one's expectations, the trial judge must be vilified and attacked as an excuse for filing an appeal. Wow. Masamidu is getting angry here. He's getting really angry. He's attacking them. He says that Anas is a lawyer and a founding partner in a law firm together with special prosecutor Kisi Ajabe. And he says that they assume that whenever a trial goes against their expectations, then they have to vilify the trial judge and attack them as an excuse for filing an appeal. That's very strong, but let's move on. The plaintiff, Martin Amidu says, was reported to have said, plaintiff being Anas, by the way, was reported to have said, amongst other things, about the judgments that went against him, that, quote, my team of lawyers and I have carefully studied the judgments delivered by the court, and we are unanimous that the judge made an overreach and descended into the arena and made a criminal pronouncement about me as if I was standing a criminal trial. Okay. Unquote. Martin Amidu continues. The civil action for defamation which Anas Aremia Anas voluntarily brought before the trial court involved criminal acts which were the issue in the civil trial, and the trial judge was bound to make determinations on them in the civil trial. How could the trial judge do that without using the rules of evidence on the burden of proof, which any trial court is bound to consider in making its findings on the evidence? Okay, so it's a bit technical and a bit complicated, but we'll try and explain this part. So the standard of proof, as when you go to court, what you have to show to the judge to support your claim. If you are in the criminal defense, because criminal can only be defense because criminal is prosecuted by the police. So in criminal matters, the police is always the prosecution. I cannot prosecute anybody criminally. No Ghanaian individual can. The Attorney General's office and the police do. So in all criminal matters, if any Ghanaian is involved, you are the defense, okay? And the police is the prosecution. Now, when the police bring a case against somebody in court and say it's a thief, for instance, in the criminal matter, it is a criminal matter, and the police prosecute because, as a society, we have decided that certain things should not be done. Certain things are abhorrent to our culture, and we have written them down. That's the codified law. We've written them down. So stealing, it means so and so. Abortion, it means so and so. Intimidation, it means so and so. Blasting somebody, beating somebody up. All those things we don't like, we've written them down. And we have also written what it means. That when we say stealing, it means you have taken something that doesn't belong to you without the knowledge of so and so, and you took it this way. So stealing is defined. So when we catch you and the police hear the story, they will now look at that list and put you in one of those things. So they hear the thing, they say, oh, this looks like stealing, so we are going to charge you for stealing. They say, oh, this looks like manslaughter, so we'll charge you like manslaughter. Oh, this is murder, so we'll charge you for murder. This is armed robbery, so we'll charge you for armed robbery. All of those things are listed. Now, in proving those matters in the criminal documents, the courts require the police or the prosecution to be able to establish that the person has committed that crime beyond reasonable doubt. So that not just that they should establish that the person has done it all, they should go beyond that and show that there's no doubt about the fact that it was person A who did this. If that person A is able to raise a small doubt about it, he walks free. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. It just means that the police were not able to meet the standard of proving beyond reasonable doubt. Because as a society, we don't want to put people in jail wrongly. Because when you fail a criminal prosecution, your freedoms are taken from you. You go to jail. Those freedoms are fundamental, given by God, and therefore, the policy doesn't want those freedoms to be undermined anyhow. So those freedoms are very, very important. So we cherish those freedoms. So for once freedom to be taken away from him, the prosecution must convince the court beyond reasonable doubt. Okay, so we understand that. The next thing is, if I have land at Ponkatamanso, and Sammy JP says that the land is for him, and I go to the land and I'm going to put poultry farm there, and I go and I see Sammy JP has put NDC flags there, and I say, who came here? They say Sammy JP came here. And I call him and I say, Senior, what are you doing on my land at Pong? They said, but who told you the land is yours? That land is for me. I said, but I bought the land from Kofi Mensah. I said, Kofi Mensah sold it to me before he sold it to you, Senior. I said, no, Senior, this land is for me. He said, no, Senior, this one you have to go to court. Then I filed a suit in the courts challenging Sammy JP about the land in Ponkatamanso. Now, my case is that the land is for me. His case is that the land is for him. So when we go to court, I am to prove that the land is for me. But that proof that I'm proving, it is not to prove beyond reasonable doubt. No. The standard of beyond reasonable doubt is for the police and the criminal matter. Me and Sammy JP, the standard is something they call on the balance of probabilities. So that on the balance of probabilities, who is more likely to be telling the truth? Is it Paul or is it Sammy JP? When the court comes to the conclusion that on the balance of probabilities, Paul is more likely to be telling us the truth, we give the land to Paul. So that standard is lower. Okay. Now, when you go to defamation, which is what Anas filed, it is a civil matter between Anas and Kennedy Japan. So the standard for Kennedy to prove himself is the balance of probabilities, not the criminal one, which is beyond reasonable doubt. Okay. However, Anas alleges that Kennedy Japan has called him a murderer. Now, murder is a criminal offense. So you are in a civil trial and then murder has come up. Kennedy Japan must now prove to the court beyond reasonable doubt that his case, that Anas is a murderer, is correct. So Anas says, you said I'm a murderer. Kennedy said, yes, I said it. The court says, Kennedy, prove it. Once he starts proving murder, the standard required of him is beyond reasonable doubt. He would have to prove to the court that based on this evidence, I am saying to you that Anas is a murderer or Anas is a blackmailer. Now, in challenging Kennedy Japan, the court would have to push him to be able to show it beyond reasonable doubt. If he's able to convince the court, then you will have that kind of tirade that the judge read against Anas. And that is why Anas said here that the judge was speaking as if he, Anas, was on trial. Yes. He came on trial because the trial shifted. The burden of proof departed from his lawyers to Kennedy Japan's lawyers. They are alleging a crime, therefore they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Therefore, in those circumstances, yes, Anas was on a full criminal trial to defend himself against an allegation of murder so that his case of defamation will be won, and to defend himself against a case of blackmail. That's why Matanamidu is saying that in these critical circumstances, that he was unable to appear himself, to defend himself and be cross-examined, to give the court another opinion, another view of the matter, was making his own case bad. That's really what Matanamidu is saying. That knowing the kind of, the extent of the trial and the kind of things Kennedy was to prove, to still suggest that you will not show up in the court to defend yourself because you are covering your face, you should have known that you are going to go down the judge's ruling. You should have known that. That's really what Matanamidu is saying. So that's the confusion we're trying to resolve. Let's move on and see whether we can follow up. Okay. The impression that by performing his judicial functions in exercise of the judicial power guaranteed under the 1992 Constitution, the trial judge had descended into the arena of conflict is an attack on the independence and impartiality of the judge and constitutes a scurrilous abuse of the court. Matanamidu still attacking Anas. One, he goes on, one who has confidence in his cause will quietly go on appeal without making any political fussy to save face. Reaction from the Media Foundation for West Africa and the Fourth Estate. What's Matanamidu saying? Okay, let me go on and see whether we can get it. On the same Joy News file on Saturday, Matanamidu says, 18th of March, Dr. Pumpuni Asante of CDD Ghana was reportedly quoted to have said that there are many cases that demand that the investigators resort to deception in order to bring the issue to the attention of the public for thorough investigations to be conducted in order to punish the perpetrators. I, Martin Amidu says, came to the considered conclusion in my article of 16 September 2022 on the high degree of crusading integrity required to fight corruption and not entrepreneurship that, quote, the same influence peddling or trading of influence can be seen on the website of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, where two of the leading foreign influence NGOs have become integral partners of an independent Office of the Special Prosecutor, Afrobarometer Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, and the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Martin Amidu is raising an important point with civil society and some of the things that happen that we are all concerned about. Now he's saying that Office of the Special Prosecutor is expected to be independent. Office of Special Prosecutor is expected to be independent. So why is he affiliated with, on their website, with Afrobarometer CDD? He calls it influence peddling. He may be right. He says it's influence peddling. You're a special prosecutor. It's like the director of CID, a Criminal Investigations Department, director of CID, COP something. Then on his website it says, I work with Afrobarometer and Integrity Initiative. What's that about? Martin Amidu is right on that. Okay. The story goes on. He says, the Integrity Initiative, without the slightest shame of conflict of interest in rigging the elections to chairpersonship of the Governing Council of the Special Prosecutor and violating Section 22 of Act 959, which forbids the OSP from accepting any funds directly or indirectly from anybody except from or through the Ministry of Finance. Well, Martin Amidu is raising important matters. He says that they are violating Section 22 of the Act because they are engaged with CDD and Integrity Nation. They might collect money from them, and that the OSP cannot take money from anywhere else other than the Ministry of Finance. Interesting. Okay. This partnership clearly negates the independence of the Special Prosecutor and now enhances the ability of the NGOs to use influence peddling or trading of influence to source funds, grants, and donations from foreign sources, first to meet their administrative expenses and salaries, and secondly to interfere in the independent operations of the OSP. Wow, Martin Amidu is quite strong. He goes on. I also found it amazing that the judgment of the trial court became an instrument of cheap politicking on 22nd March 2023 at a lecture on financing political campaigns at the UPSA Auditorium. That lecture was given by President Mahama. I go on. Martin Amidu continues. The august speaker, who is also a contender for one of the political parties' flag bearership position at the coming party primaries, was quoted as having said that the problem I have with the insertion of the above last sentence as a cheap innuendo and malicious castigation of the court and the judge in the speaker's speech is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo excelled and exhibited more sophistication in deceiving Ghanaians for their votes in 2016 elections, only to throw those values and promises to the wind as president of Ghana. There's something missing here, but it's interesting. He says that Akufo-Addo exhibited a bit more sophistication in deceiving, and President Mahama is not being able to do that, something like that. My second issue was with whether the former president, the former excellency, even found time to read the trial judge of 64-page judgment, in which the judge reminded himself in section H at page 11 to 13 of his considered judgment on H, defamation and freedom of expression. Okay. My third concern was the deceptive allegation that the trial judge tagged journalists as terrorists without reference to the context of the findings and the decisions contained in the trial court's judgment. All right. The fighting against corruption has become the darling child of most corrupt members of civil society organizations who see anti-corruption as a profitable enterprise which protects and removes every suspicion from those entrepreneurs of being endemically corrupt themselves. This one I'll take it again. This one is heavy. Let's take it slowly. He says, the fight against corruption has become the darling child of the most corrupt members of civil society organizations who see anti-corruption as a profitable enterprise which protects and removes every suspicion from those entrepreneurs of being endemically corrupt themselves. They themselves. They are the corrupt more than the people they are chasing. Okay. It is easy to squander donor funds under the guise of fighting corruption without raising an eyebrow. I wish one could make an inventory of the properties acquired by some of the management of the so-called entrepreneurial anti-corruption civil society organizations and compare them to the acquisitions made by some honest public officers and the honest political office holder after several years of long service to Mother Ghana. Hey, as somebody says, we should compare properties and see what's happening. Okay, it's past 10 o'clock now. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we will deal with phone text messages on this one. So it's time for the first break now. We'll be right back.
Creating your own business takes time, passion, and hard work. It takes commitment and perseverance in the face of challenges. As an entrepreneur, I look for value. How to get more for less. That is what Vodafone Too Much Business gives. Too much data, minutes for calls, SMS bundles, and my favorite part is too much flexibility to customize your mobile plan.
Get more value for your business. Sign on to Vodafone Too Much Business, a cost-efficient mobile offer that allows you to choose and customize how much data, voice or SMS allocations your business needs. Send start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Whatever your business needs are, Vodafone Too Much Business has a solution for you.
Mall? Sure.
Ride in a few taps.
Jones Party? Sure.
Ride at fixed prices you know up front.
Home? Sure.
Ride with in-app safety features 24/7. Ride, surely, with Yango.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply,
electricity and water 24/7.
I'm buying this house. Stop processing my papers. Eh? Move it, move it. If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own, Bossu landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Secretary.
Yes, boss.
Patron Fakot document in bread.
Pacho yo medeba. Boss, Pacho. Sorry, boss. Father, boss, na a drop in name, I'm saying.
It's Unti Tontina 74 Mixanka.
Wow.
Over for general well-being.
Sir.
Very good. And money, money, a bit, madam. Kope binato.
Any a crujio.
Kope binato. Ghana for say munim say medumani say metwitwa age amanfo sa ena me hia edro a betwitwa age me afi yare ahodro bebre na metumi agina me na so age amanfo asabe num 74 mixture ema me apomodin e support me immune system na ema me asomdwe
edro yi nyema apemfo abata won ma wo manufo ene nkoda won nimfie duye FDA age dwede nkrato yato.
Dummy dribbles to the right. He's got an opportunity on the edge of the penalty box. He's gone past the defense. This must surely be it. Goal! It's a goal!
With only 1 city 50 pesos, you can win up to 16.5 million Ghana cedis in the Betway Atina Ketia jackpot. Jackpot muhine. Bet responsibly, not for persons under the age of 18. This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Score HD, the new exciting football channel, is now available only on HD Plus and brings you football from around the world. Watch Sadio Mane and Daniel Kufitre in the top weekly match of the Bundesliga 1 and DFB Cup, Primera Liga, Copa de la Liga Profesional, see Ronaldo in the Saudi Pro League, as well as daily sports news every other hour. Also, get updated on Messi and Mbappe on PSG TV and many more. Feely on HD Plus channel 151. Agronaede HD Plus, the Feely experience.
Creating your own business takes time, passion, and hard work. It takes commitment and perseverance in the face of challenges. As an entrepreneur, I look for value. How to get more for less. That is what Vodafone Too Much Business gives. Too much data, minutes for calls, SMS bundles, and my favorite part is too much flexibility to customize your mobile plan.
Get more value for your business. Sign on to Vodafone Too Much Business, a cost-efficient mobile offer that allows you to choose and customize how much data, voice or SMS allocations your business needs. Send start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Whatever your business needs are, Vodafone Too Much Business has a solution for you.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you maximum performance, and for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light, Ashaman Ajekojo, Kumasi Ahinima Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244 068 447. We accept National Health Insurance card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Okay, welcome back to the show. And we're now going to take text messages. Antoinette, what are people saying?
Okay. So Alexander Safer says, and now should tell us how many people he has seized their land and properties at Che Ado and other places in Accra, how he's been using armed land guards to intimidate people. Next Nation says, if Martin Amido says the trial judge was right in his assessment of Anas, then I have no doubt that what he says about the so-called civil societies are very much true. Greetings to Honorable Daniel Nikwate, Titus Glover, and the family. Felix Appiah says, Paul, thanks for playing this video. The misinformation is just too much. Jacob Kulibeli is throwing in compliments to Miss Malaika. He says, please, Paul, is this girl a Ghanaian or an Arabian? What a nice girl. Alhaji Bob Sidi says, Paul, I don't like the style of Anas's investigation, but someone like Martin Amidu lacks credibility to criticize and call Anas names. Martin Amidu is the last person Ghanaians should take serious. I don't believe that man at all. Greetings to my MP, Echo Vincent Isufa, for his hard work. Prosper Nati says Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe is doing amazing at the Ministry of Energy, Alan the Unifier, and he demonstrated it in 1998, 2007, and he is leading us into victory. Lastly, Felix Appiah says, good evening, Paul. Please help us tell Ghanaians our president has not taken any money to or in order to pass an LGBT law in Ghana. The president was clear on what the constitution says, and he has said this won't happen under him. So we should kill this huge propaganda that the NDC is making. Greetings from Canada. What do you have for us?
All right, so coming from Lordson from Asikuma, he says, Paul, your display of intelligence is explicit. And then also from Richard Opokuyebwa. Good evening, Ghana. This is Richard Opokuyebwa speaking from Ahafo region. This is the best program I have ever seen. Keep it up, Mr. Paul and your team. Coming from Bashir. Great project by the Miss Malaika. Cervical cancer is highly preventable. Gertrude Barr says, fantastic, Paul, no size. And then lastly from Meshake Champon. Great show there. Do you have any?
Right. So coming from Nana Ekiamwa Boateng says, John Mahama can only be the NDC flag bearer but cannot win the 2024 elections. Ghanaians have tasted water and wine and do appreciate the difference. Say no to the incompetent Mahama. Also coming from Betha says, Alan is our next flag bearer for NPP. Alan is the only candidate who can break the 8. Alan is winning hands down. I'll take my next message from Adu Jemfi Prince. He says, Baumia is the United Nations of Ghana politics. Also coming from Junior Akbar Tamale. He says, today we launched BMW must win too. It was so lovely and indeed we love this party. NPP, I think you must support DMB to win 2024 election for our great party and Mother Ghana so that the country can continue to move forward. Angelo.
Right, Obaya Bimpoma says, Anas, Jinaye. Salifu Lukman says, hashtag pray for Anas. Now this is going back to an earlier item. JB Nsoam says, this NDC MP pa, Pillar saying, I can't stop laughing. You should go and tell this to the Marines. Okay, and Flex Flyer says, Martin Amidou with his hands over his head. This is from George Chunibra Kodia. He says, another March celebrant, Mrs. Elizabeth Bunyan, celebrates her birthday today. She's 88 and a COSA, that's a Commander College, 1959 year group. Okay, happy birthday to Mrs. Bunyan. And Paul, that's it from me.
Okay, all right. So let's come back to you, Ms. Malaika, for a few, and then we'll go and show our Ghana month, what we have for our people, the first 8 minutes of it. All right. So how should people contribute to your fund?
So it's through a short code *711 *80# or to a mobile money number 0595 303951.
Okay, let's say the star again. Star what?
*711 *80#. After that, you follow the prompts. Or to the mobile money number 0595 303951.
Okay. Is that on the screen? Is that what? If you look at the screen here, is that what it says? Are the numbers on the screen? So you can say them again. So say the star.
*711 *80# or to the mobile money number 0595 303951.
Okay, do you have any events coming up?
Yeah.
Which one?
With the first one is the educational campaign where we'll go to St. Mary's Senior High School. That's our first stop.
Is that your former school?
No.
Okay.
My former school is T.I. Ahmadiyya, which is in Kumasi, and we'll still go there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And after the educational tour, we'll have a free health screening, which the update about it will be put out there.
Okay, all right. That sounds interesting. Okay, still on Good Evening Ghana, and we want to talk about Ghana Month. And what did we do? We just went into our archives and said, we are political, and we always reminding people of politics. Here's a captured, the way we captured the election 2008, how it was run, and election 2012, just to tease your memories on Ghana Month. We've been very slow on giving you content for Ghana Month, so we thought this might suffice. After that, we have something else to read it. There's a lot of time. Here it is. Then came election 2008. Mr. Kufuor had done 2 terms, and the NPP had been sufficiently successful at it. In Legon, in Accra, December of 2007, 17 aspirants gathered to vie for the ticket. Eventually, but with a lot of difficulty, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo emerged the winner.
You have decided to confer the mandate on my modest person. I am grateful to you and want to let you know that I'll do everything in my power not to let you down.
With Akufo-Addo nominated as the MPP candidate, the NDC went to town on something the MPP considers a very, very dirty campaign.
We didn't sit down in our meetings and decided that we were going to run a very bad campaign, no, because we had gone through that already. And people didn't like us for that kind of behavior. So this time we wanted to appeal to a lot of people and show something very good.
Professor John Evans Atta Mills, meanwhile, had chosen John Dramani Mahama to spice up his ticket.
He was the greatest. After our rebranding, that was when he was selected as our running mate. He brought a lot of people on board. I mean, people who really didn't want to know NDC came to join because of John Mahama. And he was the one telling us that we have to appeal to the people, we have to speak well, we don't have to be seen as a party that, I mean, it's always fighting and that sort of thing. So I think he brought a lot on board. His communication skills helped us a lot, and he was doing a lot of, in fact, I was working directly under him, and we were doing everything with him. I think he did well. He helped us win the 2008 election.
The campaign was hotly contested on radio, on television, on social media. There was a lot of music at both rally grounds, the NDC rally ground and the MPP rally ground. After the first round of voting in this most crucial election, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was leading Professor Mills by 100,000 votes. However, he did not have enough to cross the 50% plus one vote that was required by the Constitution to make him the president-elect. So, the Electoral Commission called the election into a second round. Many MPP supporters were disappointed about this matter. They believed, even to some extent, that the incumbent president, J. Ekufuor, could have done something about it.
I believed the 2000 election should have come our way. We should have won it. 2008, I mean, we should have won it. Because we had performed so well, economically, socially, the mood of the country was really sweet. Ghanaians everywhere wanted to come home. They were coming home from Europe, from America, from Asia, wherever they were. Unfortunately for us, we went into the 2008 election with some splits within our ranks. For instance, 18 of our members stood independent in parliamentary elections. Didn't help us. That didn't help us. If they hadn't done it, Nana Addo would have won one touch. Because even with all the splits on the count after the first round, he led by 49-point-something%. Needed only 23,000 votes to have won outrightly.
Professor Atta Mills is in the lead, but as we said, the difference is such that the results of the time election could make a difference. So we have decided to run the election in time on Friday.
Because of the remarkable record of President Kufuor and the ratings, his level of acceptability, people felt that we were going to win. The MPP on paper has the best political structure in this country, if not the whole of Africa, you know, because we are represented right to the minutest detail in every community. The NDC went about massive propaganda. I mean, I was listed as the third richest. You know, there was a list of people who had accounts in so-called Prudential Bank, and if you put together the cumulative effect of that, it was more than what the Bank of Ghana had.
I don't believe it. We didn't. I mean, did you see any advert that had somebody's bank account? No, we didn't. I mean, why would you do that?
What?
that was the story. Some people say, why didn't Kufuor declare a state of emergency? You don't declare a state of emergency. What something could Kufuor do? Stage a coup d'etat? That's not... Kufuor is a regular constitutional being. And by the Constitution, the Electoral Commission declares. If you disagree, you go to court.
I further solemnly swear.
I further solemnly swear
that should I at any time break this oath of office,
that should I at any time break this oath of office,
I shall submit myself
to
the laws of the Republic of Ghana, and suffer the penalty for it. So help me God.
So help me God.
And there goes the President of the Republic of Ghana.
With 6 months to go for the next election in 2012, in July, Professor J.E.A. Mills sadly passed. He died in office as President of the Republic of Ghana. On the same day, according to the Constitution, John Dramani Mahama, the then Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, was sworn into office as President of the Republic of Ghana. The election campaign began and was in full swing. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had been elected once again as the candidate for the opposition. He went into the election with incumbent President John Dramani Mahama, first time on the ballot. So much controversy surrounded the results of the 2012 election that it ended up in court. And in August 2013, the Supreme Court pronounced a verdict that legitimized President Mahama's victory in 2012 and made him substantially the President of Ghana.
In the circumstances, the overall effect is that the first respondent was validly elected and the petition is therefore dismissed. Our various judgments, for the sake of convenience, are handed over to the registrar of this court.
Alrighty, that's our 8 minutes version of election 2008, and we're going to go back, and the talk was that our viewers cannot relate to the much older ones. But why don't we have old viewers? Please, old people, watch us as well. We're not doing it for just the millennials. Old people have a lot of wisdom to share and to give us. All right, it allowed us to rest in the studio a little bit. It's been a very tough day, hasn't it? From the beginning through to the end. We have not put out any photographs yet of the Bawumia's win because we're looking at it, and on Tuesday we'll get them in the studio to talk about it in some greater detail, isn't it? Antoinette, what are people saying, by the way?
So this is what Bennett Danso says. He says, good evening, Paul Ademotre. The 2024 general election for both presidential and parliamentary will be a historic and very interesting election to witness. Vincent Robbie-Stein says delegates and Ghanaians have spoken and they say the time is simply alarms o'clock. Like David, he has been trained for greatness. He took time to learn this. Coming from Kobe Nyakon, Alan Cash next to lead 2024. Alan Cash is our best bet. In 1994, this man was named among the top 100 global leaders by the Time magazine alongside Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, John F. Kennedy, a global asset he is, and he goes by the name Alan Kwejo Tremantin. It seems we have a lot of Alan Cash proponents. Maxwell Entry says, if you want to get political wisdom, listen to Mr. Paul. Good evening. Paul, you are doing a great because the misinterpretation is too much. Lastly, from Rail, he says, good evening, Apostle Paul. I want to commend the NDC MPs who were bold and patriotic enough to choose Ghana over the NDC. God bless them, building Ghana together. Over to you.
All right, so coming from Felix Sapia from the political zone, he says, Dr. Bawumia is not just next to lead, but also best to lead. He is a unifier for the party. He is a unifier the party needs, and he has the ability and competence to transform this country, especially digitalizing our economic system. Also from Kwejo Eje Buama, he says, when you tell the grassroots the purse is empty and weak, the opulence, display, and fanfare will expose you. 44 billion cash spree for the launching. Coming from Bethel Fum, She says presenting Bawumia to Ghanaians is like asking Ghanaians to sign their death warrant. And then from Maxwell Inchi, you are doing fantastic work, Paul. And then Charles Osai also says, I doubt if Alan would win the NPP presidential primaries. BMW will win massively to become the flag bearer of the NPP. And also from Mohamed Idrisu Sanil, he says, good evening to you, Paul. I must say you are doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. Ghanaians would recommend you for the good work. I'm monitoring you live from Karaga. Send my regards to Honorable Mohamed Aminanta, MP for Karaga constituency. Over to you.
Right, so from Samuel Ofosuba, Samuel says Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign team ethos has silenced all his competitors. NPP fraternity must do all possible means to elevate this Dombo style to break through the breaking of eight. Agenda being set by the party 2024. We know his colleagues have all the pedigree to qualify for the flag bearership. Yet, for the sake of the opposition's tribal political accusation, they must be very sensible enough to approach this to overrule their diabolical propagandist agenda from Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Also coming from Abdul Latif Ramadan, he says Chief Alan is the only competent candidate to break the eight. And from the same Alhaji Latif Ramadan, he says the Alan movement is stronger than apathy. Not even the China war can break it from penetrating the Ghanaian political space. Alan's coming is not in doubt. It's just a matter of time. And lastly, from Mahami Adams, he says Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the politics of Ghana now and then. Let's give him the opportunity to lead.
Right. So Yamusa Ibrahim and Danny at Site Utema has this to say. He says, good evening to you and your brilliant staff. I will always watch your educated program. My special greetings to Honorable Titus Glover. Thank you, Ibrahim and Danny, for that. Now, Rex John Fire from Second D says, thanks for your team and your hard work from other Ghana. John Mahama is now telling Ghanaians that when he becomes the president again, he will amend the constitution. Paul, so you saw nothing wrong when he was the VP, becoming caretaker president, then full president from 2012 to 2016. Ghanaians say there is no second chance for him, hence the outright rejection after serving one term. Anyway, we are waiting. Let Asiedu Nketia and Fifi Kwete bring him, and he will hear Bobo Bobo once again. Right, moving on. Emmanuel at Taifa White Dove says, Paul, have you forgotten another Odadie in the person of His Excellency A.M.B. Michael Okwe Jr., current CEO of Ghana Free Zones Authority? He's also a March-born. May the Almighty God see him through. Amen. Right. Now, Foster Ankoma says, agriculture is one of the key factors to bounce back our economy. The government must invest massively in agriculture. My regards to the entire people of Ufuasi Irebi at Chimansa district. Yes, and lastly, this is from Royal Gabi, watching us from Ifiakuma. He says, I want to commend the NDC MPs who were bold and patriotic enough to choose Ghana over the NDC. God bless them all. He continues, hashtag building Ghana together. This on a previous item we did an episode ago. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, so we take another, our last break. When we come back, we may show you another of the Ghana Month series because I'm just struggling with the cold. You can tell that, can't you? All right, so after the break, we'll be right back on Good Evening Ghana. See you.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you much maximum performance. And for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light. Ashaman Ajay Kojo, Kumasi Ahinima Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244 068 447. We accept National Health Insurance card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Dummy dribbles to the right. He's got an opportunity on the edge of the penalty box. He's gone past the defense. This must surely be it. Goal! It's a goal!
Only 1 cedi 50 pesos. You can win up to 16.5 million Ghana cedis in the Betway Atina Ketia Jackpot. Jackpot Muhine. Bet responsibly, not for persons under the age of 18. This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Okay, we'll take the last words of Miss Malaika and then we'll be calling the day for tonight's show. Earlier than normal finishing time, but forgive us. Yes, Miss Malaika. So what are your last words on this show?
I want everyone to know that despite the fact that cervical cancer can be a life-threatening disease, it is the only cancer that can be cured when detected in its precancerous phase. That means early detection is the first key to early prevention. So I urge everyone to go get tested today. And also Ramadan Kareem to all my Muslim friends and family. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Ramadan Kareem. All right, at 28 minutes on top of the hour, we bring down the curtain on tonight's edition of Good Evening Ghana. MCR will take it over. We'll see you again on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Mene kwaku owusu ajei pato abrasamadu katawiri wosobrobo mensa kwaku abridi abrada sumaya echimpani echimofra ere agene be kasa problem e wo nyina ne say yetimi wo say problem wo manum na ye problems ne nkofo de ye business enti da bia kwan on person ye ne say on person problems ne ka ho na ma wadwe nya o say ye betena be keka nsam e be ma otirimu aye ode de here be bo my Ghana ho nkomo ene e ba bedie ya bre obi aba no aba be kan de obi aba no aba be kan de ere de nyesa de be ni bio ye ni abere ye be kan se de sitie bia ama wate de se de sitie me kura de mi nganka de send the bluetooth de ama obroni be say no matter whose ox is God ye be kan ho asem juma de efri ewia no mi no kopum se be bono ntia agene kasa on original 91.9 FM ahaye nyansa fi
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.